Now, I will say something in Kamala Harris's defense. Look, I'm a nice guy. I'm in a good mood today. I said something nice about Tim Walz, and now I'm going to say something nice about Kamala Harris. I really do think that every time she goes out there and does an interview, we pick up about 50,000 votes. And I've never seen anything like it. You know, they say that she does softball interviews. Of course, remember the first month and a half of her campaign, she did no interviews. And then she transitioned to doing softball interviews. And the problem, of course, with a softball interview is that you've still got to be able to hit a softball. And you know, we were in Tucson a couple of weeks ago. We were actually in Tucson, I think, yesterday, too. But a couple of weeks ago, I landed in Tucson, and we're campaigning. I got a phone call from the president's communications director, Jason Miller. He's a good guy. You've probably seen him on TV. Jason does a good job. So he's giddy. He's like a kid who just opened up his favorite Christmas present on Christmas morning, and he's like, "Have you seen it? Have you seen it?" And I said, "Have I seen what?" And he said, "This clip of Kamala Harris on The View, she blew up her entire presidential campaign in 19 seconds. I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, look, you know, step back a little bit. Kamala Harris's whole argument is that she doesn't know, has never seen, and has nothing to do with Joe Biden. She's a sitting vice president, but you would actually think that Kamala Harris has never actually been in the same room with Joe Biden, even though for 3.5 years she bragged about being in the room when all of the bad decisions of the last 3.5 years were made." But that's the theme of her campaign. So she gets a question from a person on The View, which, man, there are many sacrifices to run for vice president of the United States, and I wouldn't complain about any of it. I'm having the time of my life. It's the greatest honor of my life. But I do sometimes, when I watch a Kamala Harris interview on The View, I do feel like I'm sacrificing for everybody. Because you want to lose about 20 IQ points, watch Kamala Harris on The View for about 3 minutes. Anyway, they asked her the question, what would you do? What would you have done differently than Joe Biden? The ultimate softball. She should have been able to knock that one out of the park, give an answer that defines her campaign. She kind of gets a blank look and says, "Well, nothing comes to mind." And then I thought to myself, that could maybe be the campaign slogan of Kamala Harris, is nothing comes to mind. But she says nothing comes to mind after standing before the American people and saying on day one she's going to tackle the affordability crisis, and saying on day one she's going to make the world more peaceful and more secure. On day one she's going to close down that southern border. She stands there on national television and says, "Nothing. I would have done nothing different over the last 3.5 years." And I think the people of Nevada, the people of the United States of America, we are ready for change. We are ready for Donald J. Trump. We are ready to put this country back on track.